What's up everyone, Darcblade here with another Mass Effect 3 multiplayer class guide. In this episode we're going to take a looky at a character who's potentially one of the most damaging in the game, the Geth Infiltrator. In my opinion there are two ways to play this character, one being a close-up shotgun wielding assassin and the other as a master sniper. In this guide I will be focusing on the Javelin sniper build mainly. Now, as with all my characters, I spec them for the harder difficulties in the game. I start by maxing out Tactical Cloak, putting points into sniper damage over bonus power, as I will be playing the class as a sniper. I would use bonus power if I was using the shotgun so I could fire off proximity mine without actually breaking cloak. Next I put points into recharge speed over melee damage. Melee damage is really not needed at all on this character, and recharge speed helps a little bit when using heavy sniper rifles. Finally, I put points into damage over duration. This is simply because I want my sniper shots to be doing as much damage as they possibly can. Next I skip out proximity mine. Normally I would put points in this ability, going up at least until rank 5 damage taken. However, with the right sniper rifle, attachments and ammo, you can still deal crazy damage without having points in the proximity mine damage taken. Also, putting points in proximity mine means that I would have to sacrifice points elsewhere, namely fitness, which I prefer on this character on the harder difficulties. Next is Hunter mode. I put maximum points into this ability, putting points into damage over speed and vision. This will increase the damage of your sniper shots. Speed and vision is good, but I went for pure damage. Next I went for rapid fire over power damage. I'm not really using any powers to deal damage. If I was using proximity mine, then I would put points into power damage. Rapid fire works well for if you use a backup weapon maybe, and I have also read reports that rapid fire can help with reload speeds, but to be honest I haven't really noticed a difference. Finally, weapon accuracy and power recharge are of little importance if you're going for the sniper build. Power recharge is good if you're going to use proximity mines, and weapon accuracy is good if you're using a backup weapon. But apart from that, rank 4 is of little importance for this build. As for the passives, I always say these are down to personal preference. To get the most damage per shot with the Geth Infiltrator, put 4 points into network AI, putting points into weapon damage, headshot and weapon damage. As this build is weapon based, points in these ranks will help dish out a lot of damage. Lastly, I max out fitness. I don't feel comfortable enough to skip the survivability that fitness gives on the higher difficulties. If you do feel confident enough though, then skip fitness and instead put points into the proximity mine going up to rank 5 damage taken. As for weaponry, go for your best sniper rifle. The Javelin would be my personal choice, as it is a Geth weapon and thus gets Geth damage bonuses. If not, then maybe take the Black Widow or the Widow. If you're going for the assassin build, then I would go with something like the Geth Plasma Shotgun or the Claymore. You can also, if you really want, take a backup weapon, if you wish, just make sure it's not too heavy. Also for gear, use something to increase your sniper damage, and also don't forget to take an ammunition bonus on this character, something like phasic, drill, warp, armor piercing ammo. Anyway, let's get into the heart of the episode and talk about the Geth Infiltrator's moves and abilities. Its first ability, and key to all infiltrators, is Tactical Cloak. This allows the Geth Infiltrator to cloak himself and become near invisible. This is great for both offensive and defensive gameplays. It allows the Geth to remain undetected by enemies. This also allows you to get into prime attack locations, complete objectives in relative safety, and escape from combat in relative ease. The other excellent point about Tactical Cloak is that it increases your damage for a few seconds after you attack or after you break cloak. With a sniper rifle though, this means that you only get 1 or 2 shots. It depends on how quick the gun is at reloading. These shots will have a lot of increased damage on them. Use this to your advantage and make sure that you line up headshots. If you were to take proximity mine, you should be able to fire off at least 1 proximity mine and get 1 shot with the sniper rifle that has increased damage on it. Or the other way around, in which case after you fire the first sniper shot, you can potentially fire off a proximity mine and incur the cooldown timer of Tactical Cloak rather than the proximity mine cooldown timer. A side note on the cooldown timer of Tactical Cloak is that try not to stay cloaked too long, as you will incur longer cooldown times. Hence, try to line up your shot, cloak first, then fire ASAP. So you only get the basic Tactical Cloak cooldown, which is around 3 seconds with a 200% weapon loadout. The next ability is Proximity Mine. Now like I said, I skipped out this ability in favour of survivability. Players who feel that they don't need that much survivability though should go for the Proximity Mine setup. putting points into at least rank 5 damage taken. With Proximity Mine, the Geth Infiltrator will fire a small mine towards surfaces or opponents. It will explode, and opponents who are affected by this mine will take more damage thanks to the damage taken rank. The actual damage from the Proximity Mine isn't great, but with this debuff it means that Proximity Mine is incredibly useful. Now, although I skipped out Proximity Mine and the chance to increase my damage by 20%, I felt that I needed the fitness, and also with a high level javelin and consumables you can still dish out a lot of damage, not to really worry about Proximity Mine at all. But as with all games, it's down to personal preference. Now, the last ability is Hunter Mode, a unique mode available to the Geth classes. It's an ability that you turn on and off manually. So once it's on, it will stay on until you actively turn it off. Once you turn it on, you will first notice that your loadout for the Geth Infiltrator will change. There will be loads of Geth writing and lines all over the screen. Annoying at first, but you get used to it. Having a slightly cluttered loadout screen though is made up by the fact that Hunter Mode increases your movement speed, melee damage, weapon accuracy, and power damage. It also gives you the ability to see through walls, fences, and smoke, to a certain distance anyway. Perfect for seeing where opponents are. These aspects can be increased even further with putting points into the Hunter Mode ability tree. The only real downside is that while Hunter Mode is active, your shields will be reduced by 50%. Sometimes, especially on objective missions like hack missions, it may be more beneficial to turn off Hunter Mode whilst you're hacking and under sustained fire. Another argument could be that there is little point to putting points into fitness if you lose 50% of your shields whilst Hunter Mode is active. Well, I leave that down to personal preference again, as I prefer the extra fitness. As for the passive abilities, with Network AI, max it out and put all points into increasing weapon damage. This is a weapon based class. It is where the damage will be coming from your weapon. Also, thanks to Network AI, try to use Geth weaponry to get the most out of this character. With fitness, I've gone over this already, I max it out for comfort play. It can be skipped or have points reduced if you want to try out Proximity Mine so you can debuff enemies, but like I said, I've gone for fitness for comfort play. With weaponry, go for a Geth weapon. With this build, the Geth Javelin is an ideal weapon. With a high level javelin, high level weapon mod, decent consumables, tactical cloak maxed out for damage and sniper damage, maxed Hunter Mode, aim for damage, and a maxed Network AI, with all points into weapon/Geth weapon damage, means that each shot from this weapon will be doing insane amounts of damage, able to take down even the hardest enemies in the game with just a few shots. You should also take advantage of the fact that the javelin can penetrate walls. This can be increased even further with mods, of course, and as it can also see through walls, similar to how Geth Hunter Mode works, use this to your advantage. Stay out of the line of fire of enemies and simply shoot them through the walls where they can't even get at you. I also took a backup weapon, a simple Geth Plasma SMG, for when I was low on ammo or not near ammo crates. Now, the Geth as a race are quite unique. They have very, very low amounts of health. They cannot take much fire at all, but they do have high shields. Playing a Geth can help a player's skill, as it makes players take cover as soon as their shields are gone, and not rely on their health to take hits. This is good practice all round. Only classes that can regen their health mid-match can really ignore this type of gameplay. They have a fair dodge mechanic named a Geth Hop. This allows the Geth to simply hop out of the way of incoming fire. They also have a forwards and backwards roll that is very similar to the humans. As for their light melee is a simple hit with the butt of their gun, nothing special about it at all. Their heavy melee though is a wonderful defensive move. The Geth will crouch down and create a shield pulse around himself. The pulse will deal melee damage to all opponents around him. Unfortunately, this will drain his shields, so it should be used in emergencies or when you want to show off. I mentioned another way to play the Geth Infiltrator, focusing on close range combat. I will try to make another video covering this way of play, but I do want to finish getting a video up for at least each class. All I can say about the close combat Geth Infiltrator, that it relies a lot more on speed, hit and run attacks, proximity mines, more than the sniper. Overall, the Geth Infiltrator is one of the best damage dealing classes in the game, able to take down most opponents with a few shots. The only downside is that you actually do need decent weaponry and a good aim. Anyway, I've been Darcblade, bringing you my Mass Effect 3 multiplayer class guide to the Geth Infiltrator. Hope you enjoyed the video, thanks for watching, subscribe and like for more.